Yeah. All right, I call this meeting to order at 6:02 PM. Can you do a roll call for us
Chairperson Frenzel,
here?
co-chairperson Lane,
Here.
Commissioner Kalish,
Here.
Commissioner Lane,
Here.
Commissioner Rafferty,
Here.
Mayor Cole.
Here.
Town board member Howard. She's on Zoom. He just isn't responding.
Oh, is she on Zoom? Oh.
Town administrator Boyd
Here.
and me.
All right. And I know we have a quorum present. Do we have any public comments that we need to go through?
Nope, nobody signed up.
All right, and approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I make an approval.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, so agenda's been approved. Now we're gonna go ahead, approval of the minutes from the June 19, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes with a couple of the adjustments for typo where agenda should become minutes and adding ER for commission instead of making it commissioner?
So I make a motion to approve. that.
Motions, and do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, meetings from June, or minutes from the June 19th meeting have been approved. New business for tonight is the rezone application for 26 Comanche Street in Kiowa, used by special review or variance for a boutique hotel / bed and breakfast. All right,
So in your packet, you have the application. I went through the zoning, the code that we are approving. I circled what bed and breakfast is. I circled what hotel / motel is. Then I circled, well, highlighted what motel is.
mhm,
I highlighted what town center is and what it is. And then I went and highlighted bed and breakfast and hotel motel, particularly because a bed and breakfast is permitted in town center, but the hotel motel is under special review.
okay,
And then in addition to that, I also, I did include the parking space because lodging is 1 parking space per guest unit.
Yep.
So depending on how many units there are, that's important to note. Also included, from Safe Built was their email kind of talking about, hotel motel lodging rental. Yeah, yep, it's on.
Little arrow, please.
there's 326.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he's on.
326 is the old bank building.
Yeah, that's you. And then the last piece is what the applicant has brought. With her highlighted stuff and her picture of what the motel would be spaced out as. So you kind of have all that info.
Mhm.
So once you're ready, you can call Joey up and have her give her presentation.
All right, Joy, go ahead and you're more than welcome to come up and
you.
good evening, everybody.
I was hoping to start, I don't know, Sasha had said she would put me down on the agenda also to speak prior to the hotel.
No,
About-
just stick with the hotel and then you can kind of ask the question, if they do not agree with the hotel, ask them about the other option that you might want to, the other options, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, it was more about just in general,
Yeah.
the restrictions in town.
Yeah. But go over the motel stuff,
Okay.
because that's their main focus.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just thought that AI didn't,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
easier.
And just make sure that you announce your name for our lovely Zoom stuff. So-
Okay, my name is Joey Kuhn.
Hello.
Do you guys want to ask me anything or am I just telling you my spiel?
what you're looking to do
Do,
with
do
it.
your
Okay.
spiel.
Okay.
And then if they have questions. I'll
Okay,
ask.
so the building is about 2,600 square feet. It's, I guess you've probably all seen it, you drive by it every day. It's sitting vacant because it doesn't seem that there's a lot that can be put in there based on the new charts. So my thought is everybody always says it'd be great if there was a place to stay in town. Everybody says it. I hear it all the time, no matter where I'm at. And of course, there's the venue out east, you guys might be familiar with, Once Upon a Time, it's a wedding venue. I called them and they're doing between 80 and 100 weddings a year with nowhere to stay. So I figure just the wedding venue alone would bring in a lot of people. And then we'd eat at the restaurants around here, they would, buy merchandise at the convenience stores, whatever. So I'm proposing that I do 4 units. Each unit, and the reason I'm doing 4, and I could go bigger better, right? It would be, however, to put in that many bathrooms is super expensive. So to break up the building properly based on what I'm showing you there, unit 1 already has a bathroom in it. Unit 2 has a bathroom in it.
Are they full bathrooms?
They're not. Both of those would need showers,
Showers and tubs.
just a shower. I would probably just do showers because that first unit I think would be a good handicap unit. That has a good, already the
It's a
access.
ramp, yeah.
Yeah. And then unit 3 is the one that would be kind of a little more tough because it doesn't have a bathroom in it. However, if you look at the second one, and that little room that's in green next to the second unit, the yellow unit, is all, the plumbing's all there. So I think it would be easy enough to put one in. It's just gonna be expensive. And then, of course, the orange unit is already a full apartment. Has been used as an apartment. It would have 3 units in it, 3 rooms. They would have their own kitchen and their own bathroom. So
It would be a combined unit,
it
so
would
like
be,
for a family.
it would be more for a family
Okay,
or like a group, like so a wedding party.
right.
When I called the gals out here that own Once Upon a Time, they said that, that's their number one question is, gosh, where do we stay? Cause they come out, they usually spend 2 nights at least, cause they wanna decorate the night before. Come back into town, eat dinner, do whatever they're doing. And then, go to the wedding the next day. So that would be the perfect one, I think, for the bride and groom and maybe their wedding party or maybe parents to stay. Now, not only weddings, I mean, I talked to Trevor and I've talked to, oh my gosh. I can't tell you how many different people within the town have said, oh my gosh. Man, if my mom and dad had a place to stay or during holidays, I mean, so I think it's the perfect situation. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be an expensive situation, unfortunately, but, if anybody wants to do donations, I'm always open to that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But, I think it's doable. I do think that there's gonna be some restrictions, a little more when it comes to fire stuff. I've already talked to the chief. I've already talked to, Nick from Safe Built. And Nick has talked to me about firewalls, stuff like that. So I already have a really good idea. I've already had my electricians out and I've already had heating and air out. I already know kind of my costs. Depending, unless something gets bigger based on, something I don't know. But I think I've ran my numbers pretty good. I just think it would be a good asset for the town. I mean. Bringing people into town for weddings and rodeos and graduation parties, funerals, whatever it is, they're gonna eat at restaurants around here and it's gonna bring, and the taxes alone on it for the town are good. Cause hotel taxes kind
Well,
of,
they can drive their electric car and plug in right here.
they could, and it might happen.
Well, we don't have a hotel tax or lodging tax
You
at this
don't,
time,
oh,
and we talked to, the state, and that's a ballot issue. In order to initiate a new tax in a municipality,
there might be a different way.
put it on the ballot, you can't, it's a state statute
Okay.
thing.
So we would have to add it to,
We'd have to,
we'd have to add it to be voted on
yeah,
by the peoples.
but I mean, it's the first lodging, so.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect to have
Yeah,
one.
'cause there hasn't been a
That doesn't
lodging
have
since
yet,
I'm-
so.
The 1900s,
It's weird, like, yeah, there used to be, above the bar maybe even, I don't even know where
a
all.
long time ago, there
I
was,
feel like there was an actual hotel.
it was an
here.
actual hotel.
And it might have went away
Like in the
during that flood.
1800s.
That first flood
Yeah.
might have wiped it out. Cause one was in what, 1800s, late 1800s, and then the other one was in 1935 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, took out most of the town.
Yeah.
So,
I think Mrs. Lamberson lived upstairs.
in the bar at the time, oh,
Above the bar.
It used to be
Oh,
the
really?
hardware store.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't know how long that's been a bar, 50 years? I really don't know.
Isn't there a hotel across the street there? No, sorry. That got washed out or something.
I think a lot of buildings did get washed out during that, because if you look at old pictures, about the only thing that looks similar even from some of those pictures is the bar. All that other stuff looks new,
Very little.
so.
Okay, so, so this can be built even though there isn't a hotel tax, right? I mean, it doesn't matter, you can still build it without a hotel tax.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we just.
So
don't
if
get
it's
it
on the ballot and it passes or whatever.
Then
should-
Joey was to start collecting hotel tax.
back. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Joey, here's my question. Are we doing a hotel? Or are we doing a bed and breakfast? Because the definition of those are two separate items. So what is it that you're looking at?
Well, I was originally looking at bed and breakfast. I'll be honest with you, based on what Travis put here, bed and breakfast. I mean, it would work because I could get a hotel, I could get a bed and breakfast manager to live in the apartment. But I think it's foolish because we're throwing money
Mhm.
at them staying there and not collecting as much on rents and tax.
Correct.
So I think that would be kind of silly, but it could be done. I will tell you, I'm not arguing with what Travis has said here, but I did a lot of research, And the way they really say bed and breakfast is so varies. Some bed and breakfast say you have to serve a meal, but nobody has to live there. Some bed and breakfasts, and I mean, it could depend on states. I don't know if that's a state thing. But I do know that I don't think always people live at their bed and breakfast, to be honest.
Well, but our definition for the town of Kiowa is very specific.
Is what
So,
he's saying.
Yes.
Yes,
So
we
I-
don't care what Castle Rock or any place else has. We just talking about
You
here.
guys are
Basically, we have to know if you're doing a hotel motel.
It'll have to be a
Or
hotel
a bed and
motel,
breakfast.
boutique style hotel. What I'm trying to do is stay away from like
And I'm not
Same
coming
old,
to
same
work
old.
for you, so forget it.
what's that?
I'm not coming to work for you, so forget it.
I'm gonna have you cleaning.
I don't think.
I think what makes it really nice too is that Ashley and I are both right next door and I can vet people as they come in. I can make sure that, we're not having rigmarole parties and I'm not gonna allow any of that kind of garbage.
So,
I want real true people who are coming to town.
so just to confirm, what you're asking about is a hotel motel lodging establishment.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we're all on that same page. That is what you're asking for. We're not talking about bed and breakfast because a bed and breakfast would be a whole different ballgame.
Right.
If we're talking about hotel motel lodging establishment, that means now we have to go through and send it on to the board. That's what I need to verify with you, which
Right.
route you're going, okay?
Yes,
Not to sound harsh, but I just need to make sure we're all on that same page.
yeah.
Because if you did bed and breakfast, that's a permitted, we don't even have to keep talking.
Mhm.
That's why I'm trying to verify with you, just so we're on that.
I think
same
it makes the
page.
most sense, yes, for me to do hotel motel lodging.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so,
And if you did do a bed and breakfast, if you wanted to not do bed and breakfast anymore, you'd have to come back to us. And have it changed to hotel motel.
Assuming you say no to
Right.
hotel motel.
Or even if you just want to change.
Yeah, I don't think it makes it doesn't make the most sense. I
Right.
think it makes the most sense for the town to have more lodging, like. 4 units over 3 doesn't make any sense to me.
okay, that's what I just wanna make sure we're all on the
Yeah.
same page as we're moving forward, because,
Yeah.
if we're bouncing and talking about two different, fruits, we're not getting anywhere, so let's find out one. So, okay,
How many parking spots are currently in place there?
There's actually, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna lower it, they're about 12.
Okay.
But I would like to take back in the back and do a built-in trash area. So it's,
Okay.
my trash can isn't being constantly fumbled about.
And the raccoons, obviously.
Yeah, the
right,
raccoons are a
around
pain.
town, so.
So I'd like to maybe do a built-in trash area back there, so I might take a parking spot for that, but there's 11,
Okay.
12,
Which is
there's
plen-
12 right
which is
now.
plenty,
Yeah,
with what's
absolutely.
required.
Even if, look in that back unit.
with the
even if
three,
3 rooms,
Even with that. yeah.
even 3 people taking, 3
Three different
separate
spots,
people,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
it
cause
would-
that still's only 6,
Right,
Exactly.
So-
okay,
I mean, that,
so you have the minimum required.
yeah.
yes. All right, other questions?
I mean, I think it would be wonderful to have a bed or a hotel motel. I guess I don't know if I'm speaking for me, I don't know how you guys feel, my biggest concern is a hotel motel turning into kind of a riff-raff kind of joint where all of a sudden we just get people coming in and just hanging out for a month there, that kind
Well,
of
you
stuff.
can't stay that long, it's 30-day maximum
Okay,
on the.
I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea, I really do.
That brings up a point, though, if it's 30 days. I mean, you could have someone there for 30 days, yeah.
I mean, short term, look, if somebody came into town and said, look, my mom's dying
Right.
in a nursing home near here.
Mhm.
You know, and they wanna stay for 30 days while their mom's passing, I don't see why that would be a problem. Now, as far as vetting people, trust me, I'm not gonna let people tear my property up. I put a lot of money into this town, certainly not gonna start letting
Yeah.
people tear my stuff up now. And with me being right next door and Ashley's gonna help manage it, she lives right down the street.
She's a just.
That's good to hear,
Yeah, Ashley. and I have
She's
to-
the owner of just peachy.
and it's gonna look all pretty outside and everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking olive green. I think it'll be really,
Yeah, what she's doing, she's asking for your permission to rezone it to this right now. She's still gonna have to come back to you because she's gonna need to come back to you as a business with her building plans and all of that, because none of that's included in here.
Mhm.
And Safeville's gonna have a whole litany of things that she's already talked to them about. She knows that she's gonna have to do for the fire department, Safeville and all of them,
Right.
so.
Yeah, it's,
I will ask this, I'm not sure what rezoning is gonna mean, and I'll ask you this. Is it gonna mean that it gets rezoned prior to me even coming back to ask permission to do it? Or do you wait to rezone it until I'm actually moving forward? And I'll tell you why, because if there's gonna be so many stipulations that it's not doable, I don't know if rezoning my building's smart either.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, looking at this,
Mhm.
I see a lot of money for you, Joey, which I think you already are aware of, because I know that we've already talked to the fire department. Does it have a sprinkler system in it yet?
No, I was talking to Nick about it, and
Yeah.
Nick said he thought I could do firewalls.
Okay,
Now, I don't know that that's the same, I don't know who makes that decision, if Safebuilt makes that decision, or if that's the fire
Safe-
department.
well, Safeville will work with the fire department in that,
Right.
so once you decide which, cause you're gonna have to, like, next goal, you drive you crazy. You're gonna have to have engineered plans on what you're planning on doing in all this whole structure.
Right.
And with those plans, they'll take those and then they'll develop their punch list of what's required by what you're submitting you're wanting to do.
Right,
Um,
now,
So
the
is it
plan, was that engineered plans? Because I felt like I read over a lot of your guys' paperwork, some of the newer stuff used to just say engineered or architect, and now I feel like it says both. Is that true?
well,
Because this is not a new build, and I'm not
It's not.
changing structure,
okay,
and I'm not doing an
so
addition.
then I may be wrong, Joey. I'll have to talk to Nick about that.
Right.
But there are things like I see, if there are 4 separate units, I know for a fact they're gonna want entrance and exits off of each one.
And there already is.
There is
Now, when you say,
going outside,
yes, now you're saying
2.
entrance and exits, 2 for each.
there's 2 for each unit.
Which you cannot do because of that back dike back there, can you?
There needs to be.
I mean, you
two,
could-
you're saying.
Any house or any building has to have a double exit.
Hotels don't.
hotels don't.
No, no, I guess they don't.
Cause you usually have one,
They only
either
have
you have
one
an
door.
outside one,
They have one
in
door.
out,
You're
or you
right.
have one
They
inside
have
one.
door.
Yeah.
so
Sorry.
you'd be fine with one.
Yeah.
And they're not such massive units, look, they're,
Well,
Right,
and
sorry,
you're
I
not
was
actually,
confused.
you're not actually asking them to rezone, you are asking for a special use, cause
yes. I
we're
don't
not
wanna
gonna change it, we're not gonna change it from town center.
Yeah,
You're just asking for
Right.
special permission,
guys-
special use.
yeah, you guys don't want it.
Cause it can be permitted under special use, but they have to agree and then the town has to.
Right, and I don't think you guys would ever wanna change it from town center, that would logically
Yeah.
would be,
No.
defeat the purpose of what you're doing here.
Yeah.
So my thought is, look, at the end of the day, it would be nice housing, I'm gonna do it very
agree.
upscale, but I'm not gonna be so overpriced that it's ridiculous either. I think it would be a good thing for the town. As far as 2 doors per unit, it hardly makes any sense the way this is laid out.
Yeah, and I don't,
No, I didn't mean
Yeah.
that worse, no.
Oh,
No, I just meant
Oh.
one door that would go in and out for
Absolutely.
each unit. Like,
Absolutely.
really what I'm seeing is
yes.
Yeah.
unit 1, unit 2, there's a door between the 2, but I don't see a door
Nope.
coming
So
inside
what's
outside
gonna
unit
happen?
2.
This is the door coming into unit 1.
Right.
Unit 2 is the
Same.
only one that I have to put a door in, is there's a window.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I plan on making that door, this is a door here, and a door here, and a door here, and a door here, so actually, two of the four already have two
Two
doors.
doors.
Yeah.
I'm saying two doors.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
I
one that
thought-
goes in and out.
Okay, yeah.
Directly out of the unit.
The only one that doesn't have a door is unit 2.
Okay.
Nothing in the building at all will change structurally, and I know that in your guys' town center plans, the whole idea is to keep it very still old school town, you know, we still want that feel, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the building's gonna have it, cause I'm gonna do the kind of colors that meet the time.
Okay.
I'm gonna do, you know, it's gonna be, like I said, a little more upscale, that's why I call it boutique, because it's not gonna be Days Inn.
Mhm.
Every room's not the same.
Mhm.
You walk into one room and it might be just a certain kind of feel and elegance that you want, and then the other one might be a little different.
Boutique sounds more attractive. If I was
Sounds
gonna look for
right.
something, I'd rather look for something like an Airbnb or boutique or something
Right.
like that.
Right, and originally I thought about talking about Airbnbs, but I don't think those have still been approved in Kiowa. So this couldn't be an Airbnb, and it is commercial.
Hmm.
But it doesn't make sense, either way, it's lodging.
Right. Lodging.
We don't have any lodging around here.
Mhm.
I do
Nope.
think and I looked it up, there's a couple Airbnb homes that aren't in town.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
further east and south, I think. And they're super expensive. One of them is very nice though. I was pretty impressed. It's got a pool. But, you know, they're also very expensive. So that doesn't meet everybody's needs. One thing when I talked to the chief that I found interesting, because he was very helpful. He said, you know, he said, I have so many people stop here late at night. And there's high winds or snow, and they say, is there any way for us to stay?
Mhm.
And guess what? He has to send them away. No, go off to Castle Rock or Parker or Bennett or Lyman. Well, if the roads are bad, you're not gonna hit Lyman.
Right.
So, I mean, either way, you're driving in bad weather. So, I mean, I think it's just, and with actually being right here in town, if we do get late night people coming late, she can check them in.
All right, so, do we have any other questions from?
You did make me think of a question though, signage and letting everybody know that it's there. Is there anything that?
It'll have to go
We need
through because it will have to go through, it will have to go through because it's on a highway. So all the signage will have to go through more than likely this, CDOT.
Well, it'll be
So-
CDOT and a permit through us.
Yes.
Yeah, because we have a sign permit for a
Yeah.
certain size of sign.
But it's not
But it'll
something
be,
that we're just.
it'll
gonna
be
do.
all part of when she gets the plans going.
Okay, my concern is we want her to be able to advertise well and have people know she's there.
Mhm.
Not just a sign tucked away off of the highway.
Right,
You know.
But that's something though that we can't talk about at this moment in time. Right now, all we can discuss is, are we going to approve?
Allow this
Yes,
special
to move this forward then for the town board to approve, because that's all we're able to do right now,
Okay.
is move it forward or not move it forward.
I make a motion to move it
Well,
forward.
wait a second, we haven't heard, is there any comments or questions from those that are out here, out in our guests? Tammy, anything?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, now we.
I make a motion to approve for the special use.
So to move it to the town board for their review?
Yes.
Okay, because if I'm not mistaken, we have to send it to the board for their
Mhm.
approval. Perfect, okay.
Yeah.
So I have a motion from Sandy. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, so
Yeah.
Joey, we've got you moving forward then to the town board.
Very good.
Yeah,
Like, so you come to clever,
So you'll come to the town board on the,
it's a great use for that building, the way the building is situated and.
It really is. I walked through there and went, this has gotta do this. We gotta do this. If we do this. I
Well,
wanted to do coffee shop at first, but I mean, I just don't have the time to babysit a coffee shop.
Well, and
Unfortunately.
Mhm.
I know, and that's a lot of competition for them too.
You could open a coffee shop right inside of Peachy Day and I'd come and drink coffee with
We
you.
could, we might, we need it.
Small drink is
Actually,
a
Starbucks.
pretty good idea.
Oh,
Starbucks,
Starbucks.
Starbucks called me.
Did they? Do you have room in your
Yeah.
Gucci building?
I don't know. That would be something to consider, because there's some of my businesses that I don't, some of the parts of the tanning and such. It's not doing that well, to be honest.
You might wanna talk to them about it.
So Starbucks, and I didn't know this, and you may not even know this, so I had somebody call me, it was an attorney for somebody who owns a Starbucks in Breckenridge. And I said, well, I'm not gonna have you tear my building down to put up a Starbucks, cause you know, every Starbucks you see is all the same.
Oh, they need to.
They don't need to.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because in towns,
Like
historical
this.
towns like this, they allow an old building.
Yes, they do. That's why I was like,
For a Starbucks.
was he proposing to tear it down?
No, she just
No.
asked,
Oh,
her. She's like, are you
I
tearing
asked
down my
her.
building?
If you look it up, the Breckenridge one is like a little yellow house.
Yeah, it is.
Similar to the
I've
look
been
at that
down
one,
there.
only smaller.
Do you know how much money we would bring in with the Starbucks in this little town? with the-
Well, it might come next if it's cheaper, I don't.
Well, I love your plan.
I know Rick is like, really Starbucks?
Heck, yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah,
you
you have the
really,
drive-thru.
You can still go down.
Oh, I know.
In that little tele
Gas
window.
station, drink gas station coffee.
And I like both ideas. I
No,
do.
I like this idea.
I will tell you, I've had employees, cause this, me and Ashley can manage ourselves very easy.
Mhm.
I mean, having employees is a lot. I had bar employees and it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was living there for a year of my life, babysitting people, and I don't know how much more of that I want to do.
Jill, and you can do keyless entries. There's so many ways you can make it that
Oh, yeah.
if someone calls and says, I won't be there till midnight. then
Yeah,
You can
you
make
can
that
have
work
it-
for them.
Have it on their phone even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I plan on, and I wanna vet as many people. I want to make sure my stuff's not tore up, and look, I have really good cameras at the bar, really good cameras. I could watch them from Texas and know everything that was going on. So that was sometimes unfortunate to know while you're on vacation.
crap.
But,
Probably don't wanna know.
I'm gonna get good camera system, you know, and watch it from wherever I'm at. You can watch it anywhere in the world. And then you can know what's going on. You know, I wanna
It's
vet
like my
people.
house, I can check my house, I can look at what everybody's doing at my house right now.
That's fun. It's a good time.
It's fun.
I'll tell you, it's a good time
I don't
sometimes.
think I would wanna
I'm
know.
just kidding. You really don't, especially if it's a bar. You don't wanna know.
All right, I like it.
Thank you, guys.
It's a great idea.
So I just now need to make an appointment or a meeting to go to the town board meeting next.
Yep. We will just put you on the agenda.
13th.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock, we'll put you on the agenda
Okay.
and you will be good to go.
And then will I just go to Nick privately? Go
What
to
I-
them?
what
You'd have to start a building permit.
I will send you a building application.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing,
Well,
is it already separated out?
It's already separated. So this is what I want. And I'm hoping that Nick and them will get, because I'm not doing anything structural. This building's already set up.
Except for
except for a door.
So you'll need a permit.
I'm putting in
so-
one door and I'm putting in a bathroom.
So
That's true.
that's the thing, okay, so you essentially need a building permit for the bathroom and a permit to put in the door,
Yep.
okay?
Everything else. is
Everything else
covered.
would be a business license.
Uh-huh.
And you would have to meet the requirements with Nick and the fire department and all those things for business.
Okay.
If you
I would
already
agree.
structurally got it in the place you need it,
It already.
Yeah, except for just a
built
couple of
right.
things.
It just needs like flooring, paint,
Yeah.
but now.
Oh, and a
the
bath-
The
and a
one thing
bathroom.
the one thing that the bathroom is a little bit, I will ask you this, and I don't know if this is even the place to ask, but I'm gonna throw it out there just in case. Is there any way, if I find out that bathroom's gonna be my hang up with costs, just because it's gonna be real expensive to do that whole bathroom, right? Could I do the other 3 units and kind of work into that? The other 3 and then work into that 4th unit?
that's not a question for us.
Okay.
That's the thing, but I would guess so if you didn't open the other one.
If I didn't
I
open it,
don't
I
wanna make an
just,
assumption.
Yeah,
until we
I
find
know,
out.
I'm just saying, you'd have to talk to them, but.
I'm just thinking cost wise, if, as I start making money, it might be easier than to get the bathroom and shut
What are you
down.
gonna do
Bring in
with
some
the
other money.
ATM?
I have an
the bank come
appointment
get it?
for the last 2.5 months for them to come get it. And it's been,
Can we not
Yeah.
just tear it out of the wall?
I asked them, I go, when are you guys coming? So now I have 3 people working on it, cause I'm refining the bar right now.
Yeah.
And so now I got them working on it. And
Okay.
so they don't
Still
get
have
out
money in
there. It still has money in it, but only like 2 local drunks a day use it. I watch them stumble.
Oh,
up
I didn't
the-
even know it still worked.
It still works. They stumble up the steps and then they stumble down to the liquor store. And then that's it.
so, okay, so.
There.
You could leave it there and, cause we all like it.
Is it guys? Yeah.
You guys don't, that's
work.
my favorite ATM.
Is it really?
Well, they're about to put one in at Farmer
But,
State.
yeah, they got one
One
going
is.
at the farmer's state.
Yeah, with the new one.
At the end of the day, it's inside, it's an inside unit.
No,
It's
So
huge on the inside
it's
too.
huge. I did ask them, I said, you know, if you guys could do an outside unit, I probably wouldn't be opposed to trying to leave it no matter what business it was. And they said, you know, they're just very expensive and we're not doing enough business there to put one in. They're not gonna spend the money if they're not making some money.
Well,
And
I
they're not
didn't know
making
there
any
was
money.
still money in there, so.
Yeah.
There is money
I'd
in
have
there.
been using it.
And it doesn't work a lot of the time though. Yeah, they send people out about once a month. I'll have a guy in the building like all day trying to fix it. It's an old unit.
Yeah.
So I think they don't care. They wanna get rid of it, but now it's just getting them to do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
So
well,
the,
thank you, Joey.
how is the bar doing? I mean,
the bar,
yeah.
well, I don't run the bar. I have that leased out.
Mhm.
I just own the building. I was hoping to bring that up if I could, if you guys have a few more minutes.
Or you want
Is
to
that
bring up?
something else though?
Well,
Because it's not a decision for them, Joey.
I understand, but I need
It's
to
probably a
know,
Kim question.
I do need to know whose decision it is, and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels on panicking about it.
But
And
we
I,
answered it, didn't we?
no,
What is the question you have?
well, I have the bar for sale.
I
Under the
saw
new
that.
town center rules, a bar and tavern cannot be there.
Okay,
A bar and tavern can't be there, and, a car lot can't be there, and, gas stations can't be there.
okay, so,
So here's my concern. Right now, it might be grandfathered in, but if I should either sell it, or let's say the guys that are running it just decide to move off to Florida,
mhm.
right? And maybe it sits vacant for 3 months till I get somebody new in there. Technically, under the town center rules, you guys could like actually turn down a bar in there,
Not if it's a bar now, Joey. So I did clarify,
okay?
you run it as a bar, you bought it as a bar, you run it as a bar,
Okay.
you sell it as a bar,
It stays a bar.
it stays a bar. But if the person that buys it decides they want to do something different with it and they change it,
Mhm.
then
It
that's
won't be
the problem.
permitted to go back.
There's nothing to say that it won't at that time, but at that point, Joey,
It's not your problem.
it's not your
Yeah.
problem.
But here's the thing, I'm afraid I might own that thing for a long time. I'm
But
not,
then it stays-
I
then
haven't
it
been able
stays
to
a
sell
bar.
it. Not necessarily,
As long as you own it, it stays a bar.
Oh.
not necessarily. If these guys walk away and somebody else came to me and said, man, can I try this in there? I'll lease it from you.
A Starbucks.
Well, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Technically, under that rule, say 2 years from now, I wanted to try to bring it back to a bar, I can't.
Well,
Cause you guys would have it's under Star, which is not permitted at all, right?
it's got a star next to it.
Yeah, it's not permitted at all.
But
in the
if
bar.
the, but the
If they
ownership
change
hasn't
it,
changed.
if they change it to something and they have to come here to get it changed to whatever besides a bar, then yes, you would have to go back and have it it would never be able to be a
It
bar.
could never
again.
be a bar
No.
again, cause it's under Star.
No.
Even though it's, she's the same owner each
Yes.
time?
Yes.
Unless if she sells it, she.
I don't care if I sell it, you're right,
No,
it's not my
she can't.
And you
problem.
know, in actuality, we're all sitting here discussing this.
And
it
it's not
hasn't happened,
something-
But
It could,
this is something that can be changed by ordinance,
Mhm.
okay? We've all sat through all those workshops and made up those revisions currently. This isn't a new revision, it's grandfathered in. It's not like you just changed it, okay?
Yep.
So she's had the bar this entire time. Other owners had a bar there. There's been no issue. Why this is here is beyond me. How long it's been here and it's been operated as a bar and sold as a bar.
Mhm.
But nobody knows, but
Right.
this is not something that we can't go back and look at and say, that doesn't make sense. Joey's
Right.
been here for God knows how long. People operate as a bar before that.
Mhm.
There's no reason for this to be this way.
Mhm.
And if that's hindering a productive business that's been there for decades, then, we could go back to the table and change it. Joey's nothing saying that this is
it
concrete.
just scares me a little, and I'll tell you why, because if I have any situation where I need to make a change with the guys that are in there,
Yeah,
if it sat for a while, under these rules, even though you're telling me it's not. If it sat for 3 months before a new person came in to lease it, you guys technically could tell them no.
well, I
But
don't think we
I
have a
don't
reason
think,
to do
I don't
that,
think
but I
anyone
think
would
that.
though.
We can't let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's wait
Yeah.
until we get, and I know that is a scary thing for a planner, is to be told, hey, until we get to that, we can't talk about it because. But for a planner, that is the scariest thing to be told.
I agree, I'm a planner.
And yes, and I'm a planner and I know that's, you've got lots going through your head, Joey. But we can't, it's not something we can really talk about until that is presented to us. It's
We
kind of
may
like,
not even be on the board then. It may be a whole
And there's
different,
nothing to say we can just
commission.
question it now.
I get, but I'm saying, I'm looking under table, I understand what you're saying, I do.
yes.
But when I'm looking under table of uses and I'm being told that this cannot be a bar
Yeah,
or a tavern. It could be a nightclub possibly if you guys voted on it.
I'd rather a bar.
You guys realize under nightclub, it's not permissible, but it's under special review.
That's dumb.
So
Yeah.
like, to me, these charts are a little off and maybe,
Oh,
I just wonder if it could be relooked at. Because right now, even under anything I own in town center, there's 6 items under permissible. 6, that's it.
I'm kind of wondering why we didn't catch this when we were having our workshops over this, because we
because there
went
was
through
so
the
much of it.
chart
There
and we
was a
added
lot.
to
There's
it.
a lot.
There's a
Yeah,
lot, and
But I
But
agree, I
Yeah, we
can
had so
see
much going through our heads.
what you're
It's a
stating.
concern for me,
Yeah.
cause I could sell that bar, I have a guy right now that's seriously thinking about it. Let me just give you an example, and I'm not saying you guys wouldn't allow it, but let's say he bought it in September. And for some reason, maybe it wasn't even you guys, maybe there was a couple new people, and somebody said, no, we don't want a bar. They could technically tell him no, and then I'm gonna be in a lawsuit with him after I sold him a building he can't have as a bar. It's very concerning, so I just wonder
If
if
it's
this
a
could.
bar now, you sell it as a bar,
It
it
stays the bar.
continues as a bar. So that, what you just told us is totally irrelevant.
Well,
What, now, if you
Cause it's
sell it,
grandfathered.
cause it's grandfathered, now that is totally different than you going through and saying, okay, I'm changing it to a coffee house and then coming back as a bar. That's different than what you just told us. You're selling it to a person as a bar. It stays a bar. There's no change. It's grandfathered in.
I was also told though, and this was Kim, and Kim will remember this, that some of the grandfathered in is just me because I got it voted in. Like, do you remember when I was doing the Airbnb upstairs? And we had that conflict because as I advertised it, that it was allowable as an Airbnb.
but you know what that building is? That building's a multi-use.
It is.
Mhm.
But my point being is I was told then though that the new person would have to come to you guys and get it voted on again to do Airbnb above the bar. But I already have permission to do it. So it's a conflict.
Mhm.
What I'm hearing you say to me says, we're saying it's grandfathered in, but I'm being told it's not grandfathered in for the Airbnbs. So it scares me because I have a lot of money invested in this town.
but isn't an Airbnb, I never, it wasn't an Airbnb before, I
Before,
think
it
that's
was
the
not.
difference.
Yes,
That,
that
and
is a
it,
big
that it has a
difference.
history of being a bar and you bought it as a bar,
Yes.
so that's why that's grandfathered and the Airbnb is not, I would assume.
Yes,
So let me ask really quick before I leave, so if Joy. I like her scenario, the gentleman leave and take off and she. Wanted to lease it again or, without selling it, can they still keep the bar portion and open up a restaurant in it? Would that have to be rezoned?
I think you're a restaurant bar.
So
Yeah.
would it be?
Do we have a restaurant bar? Like,
Leach's is pretty much a restaurant bar.
Yep,
mhm.
yes.
How do you
Well, no,
answer
I mean-
alcohol?
is a restaurant bar considered a bar and tavern or a,
Leach's is a restaurant.
I think it depends with the law on the percentage of food you serve versus the
Versus
percentage of alcohol you
Yep.
serve.
It could fall under dance club, okay, nightclub. Cause you guys have nightclub, not permissible, but special review.
Mhm.
Now, if you guys looked at it and said, okay, we'll allow a nightclub, they just gotta prove that they can have 100 feet of dance floor.
Yeah.
And they could then have a nightclub there, if you guys, you would have to vote on it.
Well, and in here, the bar, cause bar happens to be above bed and breakfast. Bar is a licensed establishment providing or dispensing fermented malt beverages, fine spirit, blah, blah, blah. In which the sale of food products such as sandwiches or light snacks is secondary. So food is not the main
Right,
thing.
you have to have some food in a bar, you don't have
Right.
to have a
Right.
full meal,
Yeah, you have bar food, but
Oh.
it's not like Leach's where they serve food and then
Right.
you can get a beer with your meal.
Right.
I think that Joey's concern is warranted.
I think
maybe
it
we
is, that's
need
what I'm
to-
asking you is.
I think we
to
need to go
take a
back and
closer look
revisit
at
that.
it, Revisit it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
but it's not something that we can revisit at this moment in
Right,
time.
not at this
No,
moment, no, I think
But
Joey's had her piece with it. I think, I
I'm-
do find validity in her concern.
I'm worried about it,
I think that.
for sure.
She's voiced a concern now that we should probably look at closer, and the fact that we already have a bar in town. And we have a chart that says they're not permitted does not.
Right.
well,
So can we put that on?
yes,
our
and I was gonna say,
downstairs?
and you guys have
It
the
makes no
definition of
sense.
town center. And you have the
Yeah.
things that are permitted, not permitted in town center, so
Let's
look
put it
at
on,
that.
let's put it on our agenda for next month,
Yeah.
and that's what we
Okay,
can
I
address. and that
I
way-
appreciate
We'll
that,
fix
thank
it,
you.
Zoe.
no,
I
no,
appreciate
that
it.
doesn't
Makes
know if
sense.
something's confusing, this is the time for us to clean
Right.
this stuff up.
And I'm not trying to speak on everybody's behalf.
But you guys already have it now and
The
you can
gas
look over it
station
before the
could have
next
the same
meeting.
problem.
Yeah,
Or the car lot could have the same problem, because all of those are not allowable in town
well,
center.
we need to fix that then, because
Yeah.
those are what make our town center right
Well, I
now.
think when we all did the rezoning and all that, I think we all kind of knew in the back of our head that things like this are gonna evolve to where we have to go back through and.
Yeah,
clean
I'm
this
just glad
up
that
and
you guys are
fix that,
recognizing, because
or-
Yeah.
to be honest with you, it kept me up. at night.
Oh, yeah,
Cause
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I got this bar for sale and it'll be my luck. They'll go, literally, if you get just a couple people that don't want bars, and that's possible. There's
Who
people
doesn't
that
want a
don't.
bar?
A lot of people don't like bars. I'm kind of against them after owning one.
Ashley is.
She doesn't wanna work at a bar ever again.
Just to clarify too, if, can you make code around if it were to like go vacant for a few months to go back to a bar, can you make a code for that specifically?
Well,
So
if it
people are
just sits,
covered in
if
that
it just
situation.
sits vacant, but it gets sold again or leased again as a bar, it hasn't changed what it is.
It has,
Right,
okay.
so maybe the verbiage just.
It's just
code.
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe just
but-
verbiage to like, give
Yeah.
people peace of mind in that thing.
It just doesn't give me peace of mind because I'm like worried about my investments going,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, to be honest, there was so much that we looked at.
But
I get it.
months
Hundreds of
that-
pages.
And we tried to catch everything.
Sure.
So if there's something, be sure to bring it up, because this is the time to clean those things up.
I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you.
And then she
I
asked
will
me
get
questions
moving
and
on.
I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Thank you for trying to keep our town moving along and generating and going.
I've improved it a lot. I think like the bar, I guess you guys have probably noticed the color and the new siding and I'm trying to
nice.
invest money into this place and
Nice.
I'm not doing it for me too, not gonna lie.
And I can't wait till the bench is fixed, cause it's ugly.
It's ugly
And you
and
need to make money. I mean, that's the point of owning a
Right.
business.
Yeah.
So, but I think a motel is great for all those things, weddings, snow
Funerals.
days, you
graduation
know,
parties.
funerals, because we had to go to the Western Slope and stay in something very similar for a funeral. So, I
Yeah,
mean, there
it
is.
happens.
Yeah.
Everybody, and even like I said, the chief telling me, he has people stop constantly when there's those high winds, they shut down the highway.
Yeah, they
People
do.
are screwed.
Snowstorms are really bad.
Yeah, 57 people in the old gym one night.
Well, yes, how's that many, but hey, we can
Mhm.
do
We
something.
can do
I
something.
could
The
pop
bunnies.
up and sleep on the
Yeah,
floor.
they put a bunch of Elizabeth in the
Yeah,
window.
it's been such a problem for Road and Bridge. Road and Bridge has actually put in a whole living quarters inside their new.
Have
Road
they
and Bridge
really?
building.
Down
Oh, yeah,
here?
that $9 million
Really?
buildings.
I bet that's a nice room. Geez, nobody wants to stay with me if they got that for free.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
That's just-
we're going down.
It's just for them.
It's for
It's just for
That's
them.
Emergency.
Yeah.
Just for the plow
not for
drivers.
Any day, but if they get stuck here during a snowstorm or they're required to stay on duty
The
24
plow
hours,
drivers, yeah.
then they have somewhere to sleep.
Okay.
Pretty fancy up there. If you haven't been, you need to go
I'd
look.
love to go see it. I don't know if they'll just let
Just
you
go up
in.
through the gate, walk in the front door and say, I wanna see this place.
Yeah.
That's
The
what I
funny little
did.
thing about it, they didn't design it with doors on the bathrooms and they're metal. So when men are in there going to the bathroom, you can hear it. So to obscure the noise in the bathroom, they put some little bird tweeting.
Oh.
noise. So you constantly hear birds tweeting when you go in that
That's just
building.
concerning.
Yes, it is. I'm like, man, do you have a problem with birds in this building? What the heck?
Yeah.
They're like, oh.
All right,
Well-
thank you.
All right, so thank you guys.
Oh, good luck.
I hope it works.
I think it will.
No
I
guarantees.
think you thought it out well.
I thought it out well and I've got everybody in there running numbers for me and let me tell you, it's
Good.
not very.
Well, keep right on going, Joey.
Electrical, you guys alone and,
We just.
Lot
did
of work.
that here.
central units is gonna be $80,000.
Lot of
Yeah.
work.
Do you have any old business?
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Business was that.
Yeah, we are done.
And nothing else to
You're welcome.
review?
You're gonna move forward.
Okay.
Nope, this was your one thing,
Perfect.
because we were trying to get her in before the next board meeting.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:45?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Bye, Rick.
Bye bye.
So I need to